Welcome and happy Saturday. I hope you are having a great week. Happy October. The weather here in Utah has been gorgeous. We've had sunny days with the light filtering through all the colorful leaves, and it's just got me so excited for fall and for Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. I know not everybody celebrates Halloween, but it's one of those holidays that to me signals the kickoff of crafting season, right? I love to create for Halloween. I love to create for Thanksgiving and especially for Christmas. So the other day on our social media channels, we shared with you a simple treat box that can be made with one sheet of paper using just simple tools. And even if you don't celebrate Halloween, these are simple treat boxes that you can pull out of your back pocket and use for any holiday or any occasion. So we have 4 more ideas that are really easy to do that we wanted to share with you today. And you don't need any specialty tools. You need, a trimmer, your scoring tool. Even if you don't have a scoring tool, I'm going to show you some options for scoring on these projects as you make them. So welcome. We're so excited to have you here. I'm excited to see Julianne from Iowa. We've got, oh my gosh, we've got people from Anchorage, Alaska, and Avon, Indiana. We've got Pamela from Michigan. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited that you're here. I didn't introduce myself yet. My name is Jana Eubank, and I am the marketing manager with Simple Stories. So we are going to show you 4 treat bags today, and here's a sneak peek at them. We're going to start with something really simple and then move to something really a little more difficult. But before we do that, I wanted to remind you of our Simple Stories Scrapbook Retreat. In September 2022, we are holding a scrapbook retreat. We are celebrating our 10th birthdays. Yep, that's right. Simple Stories is 10 years old. And we have been planning to have the scrapbook retreat for several years, even before COVID, because we wanted to celebrate our 10-year anniversary in a really special way. Now, fun fact, if you didn't know, before Simple Stories was Simple Stories, we were actually a company called MemoryWorks that was a direct sales company of all kinds of scrapbooking supplies. And back in our MemoryWorks days, we held scrapbook retreats every single year. So this is not a new thing for us. We've done this before. And all the years that we've been Simple Stories, we've received emails from our previous consultants saying, please bring back your scrapbook retreats. We had so much fun at those. So for our 10th birthday, we are doing that. Now, if you want to find out more information about our scrapbook retreat, there is a tab at the top of our website at simplestoriesTV that says 2022 retreat. And there you will find all the information as well as a link to buy. Now, at our scrapbook retreat, we will have 6 classes plus a take and make, which is our round robin style of a make and take. And this is a lot of fun where you'll go to all different stations and put together a portion of the project. And at the end, you're going to have this beautiful project ready to go. So again, tickets are on sale now. They're actually halfway gone already, which is awesome. Thank you to everyone who's coming. We're excited to celebrate with you. And we hope that you'll consider coming to our retreat because we would love to see you in person. Okay, so let's take a look at these boxes. These are the ones we're going to be making. We have a matchbook style. We have a matchbox style with a little slide out drawer. We have this little triangular treat box, and then we have a square box. And then again, if you'd like at the end, I can revisit this one that we showed on our social media. Now, we are going to be working with the Spooky Nights collection by Simple Stories, and this is such a fun collection. Let's flip through it really quick. Of course, I love Halloween. I love the magical, kid-friendly part of Halloween. I'm not much for the gory stuff, but look how cute these papers are with the haunted houses. You've got the little black kitties. I happen to own a black kitty, and so I love that whenever I see little black kitties in Halloween collections. And then there's just all these fun, happy icons. Like, look at those skeletons and those ghosts. So cute. Love the jack-o'-lantern faces. So many cute papers to work with. So I love this tack paper. Now, I've decorated my boxes, but we've sized these boxes so that you can use our cut-apart sheets to just simply put something on there. So these tags are great to just cut apart and punch out and tie onto these bags. Or you've got these other elements like our 3x4 elements. Look how cute those are. We've got our 2x2 and 4x4s. And then our 4x6s are a little too big for this, but look how cute that candy corn pattern is on the back. So lots of fun things we're going to be playing with today. And let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to start with this matchbook style. Now this one, it's a really simple one. So, you know, you can, if you've got those little 3x4 baggies in your stash, you can just toss some candies in there. I grabbed some little stickers at the dollar store. Let me show you what those look like. I got all my goodies right here to fill these up. So you can buy these little boxes. There's like 18 or 20 of these in a pack, and these boxes are kind of a waste, I think. So I just pull out these little stickers inside, and I'll put those in my treats along with that. And then this matchbook style one is also perfect for, you know, those little packs of M&Ms or Skittles that you get at Halloween. You can just staple those right in there. So the first thing we need to do is we need to start off with a sheet that's 8 3/4 by 3.5. And I've got one here already cut. So you can see that this is going to be a great project where you can use up your scraps to create these. So here we have our 8 3/4 by 3.5 paper, and we're going to turn it this way on its side as we go to score it. Now, as we start to do our scoring, I want to show you a few options for scoring in case you don't have a scoring tool like mine. So this is a scoring tool. There's various different ones on the market. Mine's an older one by Martha Stewart. I don't even think it's for sale anymore, but you just follow the numbers across the top, and then there's little grooves in the bed of this scoring tool where you can make the score. But you don't need this tool. If you have a trimmer like this, you can score. So inside this trimmer, there is a groove where the blade slides along, and you can use that as a scoring tool. So what you would simply do is use a stylus. Let me show you. Oops, sorry, that was loud. You can use you can use a stylus like this to score that has a little round tip. You can use the back of a butter knife. And a lot of times I don't even pull out my scoring tool, and I will just use this, and I just use like a large paper clip. Sorry, that was hard to see, to just run along that groove. So I would open this up, and then I would score. So let me show you that before I actually use my scoring tool. So on our diagram that you can see down in the corner, the first score that you would make is 1 inches from the left. Now there's a couple of numbers on that diagram. Along the bottom, it will tell you the space between each score mark. And then above that, below the size of the paper in parentheses, you will see scoring marks. So if you have a scoring tool, you would score at those increments, 1 and 5 inches. That has distances already figured in. So let's pretend that I'm going to score on my trimmer. I can just stick this in here at the 1 inch mark. I'm just going to use the back of a paper clip like I told you I do all the time. And I'm just going to use that. Then I can take this mark, and the next increment says 4 inches. So I would just move that mark to the 4 inches mark, and then I could make my next score. I can also use my stylus like this. And you don't want to press too hard because it will actually cut through the paper if you press too hard. And then I can move it another 1/4 of an inch and make my other scoring mark, and I'm ready to go. That's how fast that one comes together. So let's fold these little pieces up, and we already have our little matchbook. Now how I'm going to attach the candy inside. Here I have a 3x4 bag, and I've left some room at the top, and that is so I can kind of shake my goodies up to the top. And then I'm going to stick this loose part down into the bottom. Let me open this up. I'm going to kind of scoot all those up to the top. Then I can fold over this bottom piece, make sure my little goodies are centered in there. And then I'm going to grab a stapler. You could use brads that poke through to attach this, or anything you want. So I'm just going to use a stapler because that is quick and easy, and everyone has that on hand. So here I've just stapled a couple of times. I can tuck that little flap right in below that one, just like a matchbook. And now I am ready to decorate. So that is our matchbook style. Now the great thing about this is that it is sized perfectly for our little 2x2 squares. So I stick a little 2x2 square on there, a couple of stickers to accent, and I'm ready to go. So I've already used up one of my items. So that's our first style, is the matchbook style. We're going to move on to our next one. I'm going to say hello real quick to a couple people, see if there's any comments. Super cute paper. Thank you, Jennifer. I know, I love this. Thank you, Mary, this video. I'm glad you're enjoying this so far. All right, so, oh, and thank you, Margie. She put a link to the scrapbook retreat. So if you want a direct link, she has put a link in there for us. Thank you so much. Okay, so that is our little matchbook style. And let's move on to our next one. Our next one that we're going to work on, that's our next hardest one, or the one that's a little more difficult, is this triangular one. Now, people made these several years ago, but we haven't seen them for a while. I like to call these like sour cream containers. Do you remember the sour cream containers that looked like this? So this looks really hard. It kind of has that wow factor because it looks difficult to make, but it's really, really easy. So to start off, you're going to need a 7.5 by 6 inch piece of paper. And I've got mine already cut right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to score the top and bottom at 3/4 of an inch. So we want to turn it we're going to score along the long ways like this. So I'm actually going to turn my project. Let me bring this in so you can see what we're making. I'm going to turn it so that my long edge is over here, and I'm going to come in 3/4 of an inch. And at first glance, that seems like kind of a big margin, but we are going to be trimming these with a little decorative edge. So that's why we're doing 3/4 of an inch. So I've done this side. Now I'm going to flip my paper around, and I'm going to do 3/4 inches on this side. Okay, so now that I have that scored, I'll move my scoring tool out of the way, and we're going to start adhering this together. Now you're going to need some type of a glue that has a really strong hold and that will grab quickly. So whether that's hot glue or a liquid adhesive that dries really quickly. Some people use tape adhesive as well, that really strong tape adhesive. That does work well, but for me it pops after a while because of the tension of this particular treat box. So I like to use liquid glue. The one I'm using, my bottle's kind of dirty looking, sorry, is Art Glitter Glue. I've heard Barely Arts glue is really good as well, that it dries really quickly. I personally haven't used that one, so but maybe that's one you want to try. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn it. We've got our scoring along the top and bottom, and we're going to actually adhere on one of these short edges. So I'm just going to put some liquid adhesive along here. And we are going to just overlap these and put this into a circle, making a tube. Now this will take a second to dry. This is why it's important to have a quick drying glue, because otherwise you're going to be holding this for a while. You can put some clips on it, maybe some bulldog clips or to hold that in place, but mine is already holding in place. So that is why we like to have a quick drying glue. So here we have it into a circular tube like this, and you can see that I have my seam right here on the back. Let me move that diagram out of the way. Now, what you want to do is, you can see that I have it right in the center. I'm going to roll it off to one side so that my seam isn't directly into the center. This is because when we start squishing and folding the tube, if it's directly on the center, it's going to add pressure to that seam, and then it's more likely to pop. So instead of keeping it in the center, I like to roll it off to one side. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to squash the bottom edge. Okay, right where that little score mark is. So you can see that I've squashed it. Now I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to put my liquid adhesive inside along that scored edge. So I'm just going, I hope you can see that, what I'm doing. We're going to put the adhesive inside, and then we're just going to squash it and hold it together. And because we scored it, that helps us to, it kind of follows that score mark and comes together really nicely right there. In fact, we can even bend it a little bit to just kind of help it. And you can see that we are getting this little pouch. Okay, so now my glue has already adhered, and we've got this little pouch inside. Now I could just do something, I could even just squish the other side and use it like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to put some treats inside at this point. So let me grab some. got some here. I picked these up at the dollar store, and these are really good. They're little peanut butter cups with Reese's Pieces inside. If you like a little crunchy texture, these are really yummy. So we're going to put some of those inside, and then we're going to simply just squash it in the opposite direction. So this side is going this way, and then we're going to squash it in the opposite direction like this. You see that? And it kind of forms this little triangle. So now we can open it up and we can do what we did before and just add the adhesive or the liquid glue. Maybe it's hot glue, whatever you're using, right there inside that scored mark. And then squash it and hold it together like we did the first time. Okay. Isn't that easy? So it has this wow factor. People go, oh my gosh, how did you do that? But it's really, really easy to do. I love projects like that. So we are going to now, because we made our score marks 3/4 of an inch, we're going to pull out our pinking shears. And I suggest grabbing some pinking shears that are like, you know, not the little cheap plastic ones. I've got these ones that are meant for sewing, and this will help you to cut through this double layer of paper. I find it's easier than the other ones. So just to add a little fun decorative edge and kind of make it look more like that sour cream container, right? We're going to just trim across that and give it a cute little decorative edge. And then we'll do that on this other side. I can see that my glue is a little wet right there. It's kind of wrinkled a little bit, but that's just fine. So we'll cut right along there. And that just gives it a little more detail. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we can decorate the front. Again, these are sized perfectly for those 2x2 squares, so you can just plop one on there with a little sentiment sticker and you're ready to go. Really, really easy. Look how cute that is. Now to just dress it up, it's not necessarily for function. We're just going to add a bow on the top. And how I did that is I grabbed a hole punch. Let me get mine. And we're just going to punch a couple of holes in that top scored edge that we glued together. And then we're going to string in some twine. Now I love this twine. I just picked this up at Walmart. They've got like tan color, they've got black. I don't know if they have other colors. I usually just see the black and the tan. And so I love it because it's $5 for this huge spool and it lasts forever. So we're just gonna grab a couple of strings of that. And then it's got a little bit of rigidity to it, so it's easy to thread through things. It's great to thread through buttons, great to thread through tiny holes like this. I used a 1/8 inch hole punch. You can use a larger hole punch. It just will have larger holes. And in fact, if you want to use larger ribbon, you may want to use a larger hole punch just to allow the space for a larger ribbon. Whoops. Sorry, I'm a little butterfingers today. So after we've punched those holes, we can just tie a bow. Add our little 2x2 square. And look how cute that is. Now the person to open it, they would just tear it open. So that makes it a lot of fun too. It's almost like a little confetti of candy. So that is this triangular treat pocket, or I call it the sour cream container. But I don't know if everyone would know what I was saying, so I call it the triangle treat box. So there we go. All right, next one. Let's see if anyone has any questions. I don't want to move too quickly in case someone has a question. Oh, hi, Becky Adams. Halloween treats are my favorite. These are darling. Yes, this is such a fun collection. And Margie says, loving all the little treat containers. Great so far. Great to fill a bowl. Yes, and these are so fun to like take to your coworkers at work. You know, just a little something, little goodie to just brighten their day. We all need a little brightening. So that is the triangular, and that's box number 2. Okay, so our third box we're going to work on today is just a square box. These are perfect for cookies. So if you go to the bakery and buy some yummy, you know, cute decorated cookies, they will fit perfectly in here. You can also put like little rows of candy bars or things like that, and you can tie it closed with a bow. You could also punch a window in the top if you'd like and put some acetate behind it. But we're going to decorate ours like we did here with just our fun little Spooky Nights goodies. So this is also super, super easy. What you're going to need is 2 6x6 squares of paper. So if you've got tons of 6x6 paper pads in your stash, this is perfect for you. So we've got 2 6x6 papers. Now one of them, you can see that I have cut a little smaller. Do you see that? I'm holding them up next to each other, and one is a little smaller. So the gray one, which is going to be our lid, is 6x6. And then the smaller one is 5 and 15/16. I know those measurements freak people out, but really just go in the little tiny line below the 6-inch mark and cut it to that line, and then it will be a little bit smaller. That is for the bottom of your box, and that's important so that it fits up inside your lid, okay? So let's start with the 6x6 paper, and the steps for both the top and the bottom are basically the same. So let me pull up the diagram real quickly so you can follow along. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place it in our scoring tool, and we're going to score around every single edge at 1 inch, okay? So just tuck that in there, score at 1 inch, turn, score, and you can see how fast this is because I basically don't even have to think about it. I just stick it in there and rotate it and score at 1 inch. Okay, while we're doing this, we can also do our bottom. So same thing, score at 1 inch on both. And because we cut the one slightly smaller, it's going to fit inside of our lid. So 1 inch all the way around. Okay, now we can set our scoring tool aside. We don't need it anymore. And we're going to go back to the lid. Now the lid, you can see on the cutting diagram that I've shown, is that we're just going to go around each side and make a slit along those scored marks. So let me grab my scissors, and I know the camera's not going to pick it up, but along the scored mark, we're just going to make a slit up to the next scored mark. Then we're going to turn and do the same thing all the way around. Turn, make a slit, turn, make a slit. Now the next thing we're going to do is if we tried to fold and put this together, these little folded flaps that we just made, they're a little bit too bulky, so we're going to cut them into a tab shape. So let me pull up this one, and we're going to just trim each of those little squares slightly smaller. This is just to take away some of the bulk so that when you're gluing it, it goes together easier. And then we're going to angle cut each of those little side tabs and make a tab shape. So I'll do that again. You'll see me do it 4 times in case you're like, what are you doing? So there's that. Maybe I hold it against, let's see. I don't have anything white next to me. There we go. So it looks like that. Okay, so turn it, and we're going to do the same thing for each of those 4 little tabs we made. I'm going to cut it shorter just to get rid of some of the bulk, and then I'm going to angle cut the 2 ends. This just helps it to, when you put a glue on it, it just helps it to line up a little bit better. You can definitely just do it with the squares, but again, sometimes that paper just gets in the way. All right, so really, really simple. Okay, after we've done that, you can see on my diagram that I have a punch, a circle punch. So I want to look at my paper and decide which direction I want it to go. And then I'm going to use a 3/4 inch hole punch. This is just on the lid to notch the edges. So I'm going to, I'm folding this tab out of the way just so I can kind of see where my center point would be. And I'm just going to eyeball this. This is a 3/4 inch hole punch. I'm going to put it in, or circle punch. I'm going to put it in on the edge of my flap about halfway through, and then I'm just going to take a bite out of it with the punch. Then I'm going to turn it over to the other edge. You can measure if you'd like, but I just kind of eyeball it. There we go. And now we're ready to fold and assemble our lid. So we'll just fold all those marks that we made, fold all of our tabs, and then we're just going to add adhesive to the tabs. And this comes together really, really quickly, especially if you have, again, that quick drying glue. So maybe you guys can share with each other what kinds of glue that you guys like to use, if you have a favorite. Hot glue works well. Sometimes hot glue gets thick, underneath these little tabs. So that may be something to consider, but it's totally up to you. I think it's your preference. So here we have these 4 tabs. And that creates our lid. Okay, now for our bottom part, we're going to do the exact same thing. However, we're not going to notch with the circle punch. We only do that on the lid. So again, you're going to, let's see, I want the orange on the inside. We're just going to cut along those score marks, and then I can go back and create the tabs by cutting them shorter and then angle cutting. And I won't go through all of this because we just did it. But again, you see how easy that comes together. And then our box, our bottom fits right inside that top. And there you have another really quick and easy box. So really you can get 2 boxes out of a 12 by 12 pattern paper, or just use up your scraps or use up your 6 by 6 pads. Either way. Now, one thing I did want to show you is that our 4 by 4 cards fit perfectly on here. This one I have trimmed down a little bit to 3.5 by 3.5. The top of the box is actually exactly 4 by 4. So if you just want to plop one of our element cards right there on the top and call it good, that's perfect. Or trim it down a little bit like this one to 3.5 by 3.5, and you've got a little bit of an edge, and it's decorated, it's cute. You tie a bow on there and you are good. So there is our 3rd box, which is our little square cookie box. Again, I'll show you what that looks like on the inside. All right, let's see if anyone has any questions, and then we'll move on to our 4th box. All right, you're sharing the glitter, the different kinds of glues that you like. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is this Matchbox. And again, this one takes a single sheet of paper, I believe. I may be lying on that one. So the first thing we're going to work on is our sleeve. And this is just a square tube. So this one comes together really easy. But you know, if you don't have the measurements on hand, then it can be tricky. So the measurement you need is 10 1/4 by 4.5. And I'm pretty sure that will fit on the 12 by 12 paper. That I just want to make sure I'm not lying to you. Yep, so you could get a box out of a single sheet of paper just by flipping over the pattern if you want. So let's again start with the sleeve, and that is 10 1/4 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall. Okay, and then we want to bring in our scoring tool. Now these measurements are a little goofy, I know, but I promise it will all work out. So along the bottom, you see 3 1/8. Now, anytime I use a 1/8 or a 1/16 or something like that, it freaks people out. Don't get freaked out. So if you look at your ruler, the 1/8 mark is between the 3 and the 1/4. So that's where the 1/8 is. So that's where our first mark is 3 1/8. Okay, so make that one. And then the next mark is going to be 1.5 inches away. So if you don't want to think about the next mark, you can just take this, and wherever you just did your score mark, just move it to the 1.5 inch mark like this. I'm going to make sure I got it right. I can look right here on the bottom, and then do that. And then the next one is 3 1/8 away from that one. And that's actually at the 7 3/4 mark. And then the final one is a 1.5 inch away from that one, which is at the 9 1/4 inch mark. So let me just explain my diagram again if you're coming in late. So the numbers along the bottom of the diagram is the spacing between each of the score marks. And then at the top in the parentheses, if you're using a board like mine where you can just follow the numbers, those would be the marks that you score at. So 3 1/8, the 1/8 is in between the 3 inch mark and the 1/4 mark. And then we've got 4 5/8. Now the 5/8 inch mark is between the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 inch mark. So that little one in between there. And then 7 3/4. Sorry if I seem like I'm explaining that really detailed. Some people get mad when I use 1/8, and so I don't want you to be mad. Okay, so now that we've made our score marks, we are going to cut this final section into a tab shape. And again, that's just to get rid of some of the bulk, just to help it to fold into place a little bit better. So we're just going to angle cut that last section. Okay, now we can fold this along each of those score marks, and then we're going to add adhesive to that final tab and just glue it into a square tube. Okay. So this little box is going to be 1.1 inches deep, which is a perfect size for, like, you could tuck in a little bar of soap or a cute little candle or something like that. Maybe a little thin pair of decorative socks will fit in there. So that is our sleeve. Now we're going to do the box. Another thing I want to point out while we're here is that this box lid fits a 3x4 card perfectly. You can just plop one on there, tie a bow around it, and you've got a perfect little box to give. Okay, so there's our sleeve. That's what it looks like. Now let's work on the bottom section. Now the bottom section is a 6 by 7.5. So here's our 6 by 7.5. I've chose this paper. And when we score this one, we're just going to score around each end at 1.5 inches. So just like we did the square box, we're going to come in 1.5 inches, make our score, turn 1.5 inches, make our score mark, and then turn. So nice and easy. The hardest part is just knowing that initial cut. So write these down or take a screenshot and you'll be good to go. So again, the same thing, we're going to cut along that score mark to create our tabs. I'm just turning it and making a slit along each of those score marks. And then, as we did before, we're going to cut the tabs shorter and then angle cut them. So let's do that real quickly. How's everyone doing out there? Let's take a peek at the comments while I'm doing this to see if there's any questions or if you're good. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the diagram. Patricia says, super cool. Thanks for the video. Awesome. Okay. I'm kind of jumping back and forth between my diagrams and the comments. So I always loved Halloween when I was little. My birthday is near Halloween, so that might be some of it, some of the reason why I loved it so much. But I also loved it because my parents, hello to my parents if they're watching. Last time they were watching and they didn't say hi, so hello if they're watching. My parents were so good about the holidays. My mom's birthday was right before mine, and yet she always made my birthday special by planning parties for me. One year we did a really fun Halloween party. She always made my costumes. She was great at sewing, and so she always made my costumes for me, and I have so many fond memories. A beautiful princess one, a little witch one that I wore when I was little that I actually kept and my daughters wore, and one of my favorites was Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, so now that we have all of those, you can see that we're going to punch the short ends. Now the reason for that, we're going to make a little notch, is so that we have a little finger grab to pull out that drawer. Do you see that little 1/2 inch circle, or it's a 3/4 inch circle, but you can make it whatever size you want. That will just help us to pull out that drawer. And if you don't have that, it just is a little cumbersome. So I like to add the little hole notches. Again, I'm just going to eyeball it and just take a bite out with my circle punch. And then we're going to fold up these little ends. I love using a contrast colored paper or pattern on these boxes because when you slide open the little drawer, it's so much fun to see that pop of color and all your goodies inside. So this will be our 4th box. Do you have a favorite? Which one was your favorite to put together? super quick, super easy. You could see this would be perfect for Halloween. This would be perfect for little birthday treat favors. This would be great for Christmas. You know, sometimes we just have someone that we know that we, you know, just needs a little brightening to their day. And so we just have maybe some little candies on hand that we want to drop off to them, but we want to dress it up a little bit. And so just quickly making a treat box like this is really easy. And it, you know, just grab some scraps from your stash and you've got this fun little treat box. So here we've decorated it on the front. We've got a journal bits. I've used some chipboard pieces, some of our phrase stickers along the bottom with another chipboard piece. And now I'm all ready for Halloween. All right, so that is our 4 treat boxes. We've got the Matchbox style. That would fit a bar of soap, some candles, some cookies, little small cookies could go in there. We've got our square cookie box, which was this one, where the lid and the top could be made of 6x6 papers, really easy. We've got our triangular one or our sour cream one, and then we've got our matchbook. Now, the one that I shared the other day was this one right here, and maybe I'll review that really quickly just for replay value in case people didn't see it on social media. I will show how this one comes together. So what you need for this one, let me pull up our diagram, is you are going to need a 12x8 piece of paper. Whoa. So I've cut this one that has this candy corn pattern. Look how cute that is. Love that. That's from the 4x6 sheet. So we need our scoring tool. And the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to score 6 inches down from the top. So turn it this way, and then whatever side is your top, you're going to come down 6 inches, and you're going to make a long score mark all the way along the bottom. Then we're going to turn it back this way and just follow the scoring diagram. The first one you're going to make is at 3.5 inches. Then from that one, go to 1 inch from there, or 4.5 inches. And then another inch, so 5.5 inches. So that will be the side of our bag. And we're going 1 inch and 1 inch just to make a little gusset. So just to review, 3.5, 1, 1. Now we're going to go 3.5 again, which is at the 9-inch mark. Hopefully that's correct. And then we're going to do 1 at 10 and 1 at 11. Okay. So once we have all those score marks made, again, we're going to create our bottom tabs. Now on the section that has the 2 1-inch sections, we're going to make a slit up to that bottom score mark, and we're making our bottom tabs. So I'm going to cut this a little shorter, and then I'm going to angle cut it just to get rid of some of the bulk. So there's that first tab. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the second section right here that has the 2 1-inch marks. But before I do that, I'm going to cut away the corner. So cut away this corner piece just right there along the score marks. And now I can make this tab by cutting up along this mark, shortening it, and then I'll angle cut it. Now the final piece is this long tab on the side, and I just angle cut this one, again, just to remove some of the bulk. And there we go. So that's a 12x8 paper that we've scored and cut. Now we're going to score or fold along the marks. And at that 1-inch mark, I just bend it a little bit because that's going to be our gusset. And then let's fold up each of these tabs. So the first place I'm going to add glue is on this long tab right here on the side. This bag is also perfect for a 3x4 card. So we'll just fold it like this. Make sure it adheres. Look how cute that candy corn paper is. Oh my goodness, I love that. So now we've got this tube, and then I can come to these bottom tabs, and I'm going to put adhesive on the 2 short tabs and then one of the long square bottoms. This gives us a nice solid bottom to our treat bag, and this one actually holds quite a bit of goodies. So first, fold in the one without any adhesive on it, and that one will stick to the 2 short tabs, and then we'll fold this bottom piece over like that. Now, it's kind of hard to stick your hand down in there and get pressure, so what I do is I'll stick my glue bottle down in there and just kind of tap, and that will help the pieces adhere together. So now we've got our little bag, and then I can just squash it right there along those gusset marks that we made with the 1 inch, and it makes this little bag. Now I can just, it'd be cute to just, you maybe use your pinking shears across the top of this. You could punch it and tie a bow on it just like that. But for a fun little added detail, I cut this circle. So that's a 3.5 inch circle. You can use a circle cutting die, or I've got our circle photo crops. These are meant to help you crop your photos into a circle. What's great about them is that they're translucent. So if this is my picture of a photo, I can sit there and center it on my photo, and then I know where to crop that down into a photo. But today I'm going to use it as a circle template. So it'd be really cute. This other side of this piece of paper is this orange, and I thought that'd be a fun contrast. So I'm going to just place that there, and I can just quickly draw a circle. I'm drawing the circle on the wrong side with my pencil. That way I don't even have to erase the marks. I can just cut along there really quickly. Again, that's a 3.5 inch circle. And then we're going to score the circle in half. So half of 3.5 inches is 1 3/4. So once we get our 3.5 inch circle cut out, I can bring in my scoring tool. This time I will do this one, and I just find the 1 3/4 mark and make a quick score. I don't have to do that. I can just fold it. But there I've got my circle folded in half. Now I can put my goodies inside. This just is a little decorative piece that goes on the top. Just fold it over the edge. And then I can punch the holes and add a ribbon and then decorate. And then again, I want to show you how cute those 3x4 cards fit right on the front of that bag. Okay, so we did our 4 treat bags. We reviewed our 5th one that we showed on our social media the other day. And that is it. Let me see if we have any questions. I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, these are treat bags that you can use to use up your scraps in your stash. You can, maybe you've got some Halloween papers that you've been hanging on to that you made a layout with, but maybe you've got just some leftover pieces. And so use these to create some treat bags. Oh, I'm glad Donna likes the sour cream one. I'm so glad. Becky loves the Matchbox one. Thank you so much. Again, they're very easy to do. That's the whole point. We wanted it to be simple and easy so that you could make these on the fly, right? The last minute little treat that you need to take to a friend. Now, our next live is on Monday at 10 a.m. So we are going to be doing we are going to be putting together the Spooky Nights page kit. So if you haven't seen our page kits, these are a lot of fun. Also, I want to remind you about our Get Creative retreat. Tickets are on sale now at SimpleStories.com. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, 6 classes. We're going to have a take and make. There's going to be nightly crops, which is 3 crops total. So many fun things that we're going to be working on. And I hope you'll join us. I'm going to be teaching a class, so I would love to meet you in person and just have a lot of fun. So I hope you have a great weekend. Have a great Saturday. Maybe you can pull out your papers today and make some of these fun things, and then you'll be all ready for Halloween in a couple weeks, or get a head start on your Christmas, whatever you would prefer. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you'll stop by on Monday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time for our Simple Pages page kit, and we'll see you then.